Hey everybody, so now I'm going to talk about two of the most disappointing teams so far this season. The New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens. They've been getting talked about a lot because of the awful starts they're off to. And after last night, those awful starts continued. The Rangers that lost last night in overtime to Pittsburgh 5-4. It was good for them. They got a point, but they still didn't get the win. They're now 1-5-1. Not a good start for a team that had certainly playoff aspirations and maybe even Stanley Cup aspirations. They've just not looked good at all this year. Their defense has been sloppy. They haven't been able to score goals, and just overall, they've been really poor to start the season. They finally scored some goals last night, and they gave up 5. So it's like, finally do something right, and then you do something else, 10 times worse. So they got to put a game together here and start getting some wins, or they're going to find themselves in a hole really quick, and maybe a hole that they can't dig themselves out of. It's still early, but once you get to that 10, 15, 20 game mark, and then things snowball from there. It's one thing to be 1-5-1. It's if you get to be like 4-10-2, then you're in trouble. So the Rangers have not been good, and we'll have to see if they can turn it around. Their next game, they're at home for a while, and their next game's against the Islanders. Then they have Nashville, San Jose, Arizona, and then they finally go on the road to Montreal. So you look at that schedule and you think, you got to think that the Islanders and Coyotes should win. Those are very winnable games. They'll probably lose to Nashville, and then San Jose and Montreal are kind of toss-ups. So they could conceivably go 4-1 over the next 5 games. That's definitely possible. And then that would get you to 5-6-1. So you'd be almost back to 500. You can kind of wipe the slate clean and start over, and then maybe make a run from there. So the Rangers certainly have a chance to turn it around. They need to do it quickly, or they're in big trouble. As for the Canadiens, they lost to the Sharks last night 5-2. They still can't score goals. They only scored 2 again last night. That's a lot for them. For them to score 2 goals, that's a big night. It's just they're off to a terrible start. 1-4-1. It hasn't. It's just strictly been, at least from what I've seen, the goal scoring. Carey Price hasn't been great either. The defense hasn't been good, but I think that even that stems from they're not scoring goals. That's putting a ton of pressure on their defense and goaltending, and then their defense and goaltending can't keep up. They need to start putting the puck in the net. But then you look at their roster, and who's going to put the puck in the net? They have like a first line, and then no one else that's going to put up a lot of goal scoring. So they've got big problems. I think letting Andrei Markov and Alexander Radulov go are going to really turn out to be terrible decisions by Mark Bergevin. Markov would be some much-needed offense from the back end that they do not have at all right now, except for Shea Weber. And Radulov's another 20, 25, maybe even 30 goals if he has a great year that they would have on the wing, and they let him go, and now they don't have those goals, and it looks like they don't have those goals because Galchenyuk's not scoring. Druin scored last night, but hasn't put up huge numbers. Pacioretty hasn't been good. The Gallagher's not doing much. This team is in trouble. I a lot of people think that they can just turn it around, but I don't know. Price is going to get better. His saw last night his goals against was like well over 3, and his save percentage was like 8.85 or something like that. I mean, really low, but he's going to get better, but it doesn't matter if he gets better, because even if he only gives up 2 goals a game, even if he stops 94% of the shots against him, if you can't score goals, you can't win. So offense is a major problem for this team, and if it continues to be a problem, we're going to see Montreal in a position that they haven't been in a lot, and really for as long as I can remember. Montreal always seems like a playoff team. They have bad years like here and there where they just have a bad year and end up missing, but for the most part, from what I can remember, they're almost always in the playoffs. So they've never had a long stretch of being not good that from what I've started watching hockey. So we'll see if they can turn it around. They finish up their West Coast trip the next 2 games. They're at LA tonight and at Anaheim after that. Those are 2 real tough games. Those are 2 quality Pacific Division teams, and you have to go into their buildings and win with a team that can't score. That's going to be tough. Then they come home and they have the Florida Panthers, the LA Kings, and the New York Rangers. There are no easy wins there in the next 5 games. You look at them and the Rangers, both off to bad starts. That's probably a push. They could win that game. The Rangers could win that game. Florida, that's a winnable game, but not an easy win by any means. That's kind of a push too. And then LA and Anaheim, I mean, I'm chalking up losses on the road games at least. Then LA at home, maybe could win that. I mean, it's the NHL, anybody can be anybody, but none of those 5 games are easy. So, I mean, if they lost all of those games, they'd be 1-9-1. That's a hole that I don't know if you can get out of. But we'll see what they do. I'm going to have to keep an eye on them and the Rangers over the next few games. The next 5 are really important for both these teams, because if they keep losing, they're in big trouble. Big trouble. But, so that's about it. Rangers and Montreal off to bad starts. Both have a chance to turn it around. Both need to turn it around really soon, because they're digging themselves a hole right now. And if you keep digging, dig it all the way to China, you're not coming back. So, we'll see. Gonna have to pay attention for the next couple weeks. See what these teams do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, spread the word. We want this channel to grow. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.